Hello and welcome to Tech Tips. What we're going to be doing is going through how to set up a Digibyte account. So we're going to start off with making it a Digibyte wallet. So if you go to digibyte.co and then on the right hand side go to downloads, you'll get to this page here where you can download a wallet. So what I'm going to do is choose whichever wallet for whatever operating system you're going to be using. So in my instance I'm going to be using Windows Server or Windows 10, and it's going to be 64-bit. So just download that. When that's all finished, you can just run that to go through the install. So with the installer running, just press next all the way through to the point where it starts to install the program. Now the program does install pretty quickly on most machines, so it shouldn't take too long. As you can see there, it's going through, press next, and then open the actual program itself. Now this is the program when it first opens. And as you can see here, what it's doing now is it's syncing the entire blockchain, so every transaction that's ever happened from the server to your computer. Now this will then create your wallet. The problem is this process currently bugged and can take a rather large amount of time. So exit the program like that, and we're going to find another way to do it. So go to CryptoChainer as it's shown at the top there. This website basically has every blockchain for every coin that there is available. We're going to choose Digibyte as it's shown there, and then click on that, and that will then start the download of the blockchain. Now depending on when you watch this video, it could be a few gigabytes in size. I think mine is about 4 to 5 gigabyte at the moment. Now once that's downloaded, right click and extract it to the same location, preferably the desktop just so it's easy to find, and that will then start downloading those files. Once it's finished extracting, what you'll then need to do is go into your C drive of your machine that you're currently on. Then go to Users, your username, App Data, Roaming, Digibyte. At the same time, open the newly extracted folder of your blockchain. Once you've done that, what you want to do is select everything in that folder and put it into a new folder. I've called mine old just because I don't like to delete, I like to keep a copy of it. Then everything that you've just extracted, paste into that folder. Now this will take quite a bit of time to obviously copy across. Mine will take 60 seconds, but it could take anywhere from less than that to a lot more than that. Once that's finished copying, the next thing you want to do is open up the Digibyte app itself. It's called Digibyte Core. Now what this will do, it's supposed to take quite a while. What it will do is it will remake all the files you just removed, and it will actually read the database that you just copied in. This process might take a bit of time, but it will save you quite a few hours in downloading, especially as it's currently bugged and it's not really downloading. Once that process is finished, the application will open up again and it will actually resume the syncing that it was doing before. As you can see now, you're only 3 weeks behind rather than 3 years behind, so you saved a lot of time. This process would probably take a bit of time just for it to sort of read everything and know where it needs to download from. But what it would do is it will come up saying a very long time, probably 10, 11, 12 weeks, something like that. But it won't take that long at all. It will take a lot less than that. Okay, on the previous screen we clicked hide just so we can have a little look at the actual application here. So in the bottom right there you have your icon which shows you that it's actually syncing. And this is your main screen. So obviously you've got options here for overview, send, receive and transactions. And obviously balances and everything you've got here. So the send option there, you've got the receive option and obviously any transactions that you will have done. Now the first thing we need to do is generate a receiving address. So if you click on file and then receiving addresses, we can generate an address to use now. So as you can see there, I've already made this one, and on the right hand side is the actual address. So if you click copy, that'll then put that into the clipboard for you. Okay, so now we need to set up the actual miner itself so that it's ready to go. I choose to use CPU Miner Multi, and I actually use version 1.3. Now I'll put the link to this in the description so it's easy to find. It's quite a small download. All I need to do is just download this, and then before you actually open it, what we need to do is set some exceptions in the antivirus. Now the way to do that is to click on the start button at the bottom left and then settings, then update and security, and then Windows Defender on the left hand side. As you can see near the bottom there you have exclusions, so just want to click add an exclusion. And as you can see, I've already added downloads to that exclusion, so no matter what, it won't even scan downloads, mainly because the second you open that zip file, the file inside that you need will actually be deleted. Okay, now we've actually allowed that zip file in the antivirus, right click on it and extract all. This will give you a folder. Go into that folder and you will see a number of files. Now what you're going to do is right click and create a new text document and call it CPU Mining. Go into that text document and copy everything that you see here, which would also be in the description. Now, as you'll see, the first option here is actually the miner that we're going to use. So CPU miner 64. The next option, the -A, that's the algorithm that we're actually going to use. The next one, -O, that's the name of the pool that we're going to use that we'll go through later. U, username, P, password, they are also things that we're going to use later with the pool. Now you'll see this one at the end, T, and I've got that set to 11. That actually stands for threads. Now as you can see, I've got a Xenon processor. I've actually got 2 of them in my server. These come with 6 cores each, but with hyperthreading that's actually 12 cores each. Now the thing to remember with this type of mining is each processor will use 2 megabytes of level 3 cache. Now each processor of mine comes with 12. So essentially I can use 6 cores per processor. Now what I have found is setting it to 12 and actually using all 12 processors for this doesn't actually give me a much more of an increase in hash rate. Mainly because the processor is so flat out that it can't actually do anything with the information that it's generating in the hashes. So I normally set to 11, but you can have a bit of a mess around, set to 10, set to 12, whatever your processor is. You can have a bit of a mess around to see essentially what you can get as the highest hash rate. Now back in our bat file, what we need to do is do file, save as, and you want to save type as all files, and then add a .bat to the end of the name. This will then make it a batch file which we can then use to actually run our miner. As you can see, that's now been created as a slightly different icon just so you can tell it apart from a normal text file. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we're actually going to join a mining pool and set up our workers. Now the mining pool I choose to use is Mining Field. I've been using one for a few weeks and it actually seems pretty good. So what you want to do is go to dgb.miningfield.com. That will take you to this website. Now I would also suggest doing this in Chrome, as Internet Explorer doesn't quite load the page correctly. Now on the left hand side choose Other and then choose Sign Up so we can actually make an account with them. Now here are the details that you need to add. It's pretty simple. To create a username, so we're just going to use TTAB here. And then here's a address. So the address that you just generated, this is the one you need to paste in here. So whenever you make a payment, it will always go to that address. Then just continue to fill in the rest of the fields. Okay, so once you've actually made your account and logged in, you'll have a screen like this. Click on the left hand side, click My Account, and then click My Workers. Now what you will see is it will say you have no workers configured, which is absolutely fine. So what you want to do on this page is just scroll down and we'll configure some workers now. So the workers we have here, we have a username and a password. If you go back to your CPU miner folder and actually edit the bat file we've been using, what we'll do is we'll use that information to create our first worker. So the way this is actually made up is pool username.WorkerName. So your pool in this instance will be TTAB and the worker name will be server1. So we'll type server1 in the box and then type the password we have there, which is server, all uppercase. And then add that worker, and the field on the right after saying worker added will then show us this new worker. So the next thing to do will just be to make sure that worker login on the web page matches what we have in our batch file. So it says ttab.server1 on our worker login, so our batch file must say the same, ttab.server1. The next thing to set up is our stratum. So as you can see there, you have stratum ports. So you've got CPU, GPU and fast computers and ASICs. Now we're going to be using a CPU in this instance. So what we need to do is copy one of the CPU links. So we'll move the one that's currently there and paste that one in. Now something to notice with, for some reason, just the European 2 there are actually missing a /. So we need to add that back in just so it will work. So that there is our complete bat file. That can now be saved, and then we can run that in a moment, and that will actually start mining for us. So if we now return to our folder, you can just double click the CPU mining bat file. This will automatically load the program that will actually do our mining. And this is the screen that you'll see. Essentially you'll just see a load of numbers, which is fine. What this is basically doing is all the work in the background and just showing you a brief output just so you can actually see something that actually means something. So you have your hash rate there, which will actually give you the numbers you're currently using. To find out actually what you're doing, go back to the website and choose dashboard. Now if you scroll down, this is the information that will be helpful to you. So my hash rate is how many millions of hashes you are currently producing. And you've got things like the pool hash rate, your share rate, which is a percentage of that particular block, and obviously the pool workers and net hash rate. Underneath that is a bit more information. So the share information, this is what's probably the most meaningful. The valid, that is how many shares you have contributed that are valid shares. Invalid are when you've contributed a share that is either outdated or didn't go through properly. Now, on the right hand side there you can see the estimated average time per block. This will change quite a lot, but this will give you an idea of how long each block will take. Now when a block is complete, the account information will then show you an amount that you've received. So unconfirmed, you'll say have 1 coin, 2 coins, what have you. Then once that's been unconfirmed for a while, it'll then go to confirmed, and that money will then be in your account. So the next thing to do is to scroll back up and click on Edit Account on the left hand side. Now here you'll see a lot of information as to payments and such. So as you can see here, you have your payment address. This is basically the address that any money you take out will go to automatically. Now obviously if you want to donate a few to me for helping, that's fine, I don't mind. Underneath that you'll see donation percentage. Now the one thing about this pool is you aren't required to donate any of your earnings to them, so they won't charge you anything for mining. Now I like to put 0.7 at the moment at least, just to sort of help them out to keep the pool running. Obviously if that pool goes down I find another one, so it's convenient for me to keep everything going. Underneath that you'll have an automatic payment threshold. Now you could put it to 17, so every time you get 17 coins generated you will automatically cash out into your wallet. But there's a 6 coin transfer fee, so it does seem sort of pointless. 1200 is quite a lot, depends on obviously what you're using to mine. But a good one is probably about 1006, because that way you can save them up for quite a while, but at the same time you're getting quite a while before you have to pay a transfer fee. So 1006 is what I would sort of suggest is a good number. Underneath that, at the bottom you have cash out. Now at the moment you can't actually see an amount to cash out because obviously it's a brand new account, you haven't got anything. But once you've actually got a minimum of 17 coins, you will see a box there that will say amount to cash out, and obviously it will give you an account balance there. Now payout, that is obviously your wallet address, so that can stay as it is, and then you have to re-enter your 4-digit PIN before you can actually cash out. And that's it. The only other thing you need to do is to make sure this screen's open. Probably if you're on a server or something like that, just check it periodically just to make sure everything's running as fine, but realistically it should be absolutely fine. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more tech tips.